Hey, what's going on? Well, hello again. I just thought I would do a video about a couple things been needing updates and show you what I'm working on today. I'm on my side porch here, the side of the house. I've got an opportunity to use it again because I had a Phoebe, Eastern Phoebe, nesting up there. She made a nest and raised a couple chicks, 2 or 3 chicks in it, and they just fledged a day or so ago. Saw one out in the yard kind of hopping around, wasn't ready to quite fly yet, so I hope it survived. But anyway, she may or may not come back to do round 2 on this thing, so in the interim I'm going to go ahead and clean off the porch and all that. I haven't been out here yet this year, so it's a real nice place to just sit here and kind of have a nice panorama of things that are going on, things I like to watch, like the birds over there. The birds are always at my bird feeders. I've been successful this year in attracting goldfinches. Those are obviously the yellow birds there. And the rest of them are mainly house finches and maybe a couple purple finches mixed in with them. But I've latched on to what they really like. And what's in those 2 feeders there on the left is sunflower chips, and I guess you could call them sunflower hearts. They're just shelled sunflower. And it's quite a bit more expensive to buy them like that as opposed to what's in the back feeder back there, which the camera may not focus on that very well. But anyway, what's in that large feeder is just regular black oil sunflowers, not the striped ones. And I've had to add to that feeder, that blue in there on the right side is one of those bots, real cheapo from Walmart, but I buy those specifically because they do not have a tray on the bottom of them, because I had to get away from using, there's some more over there, they're on the Niger feeder. I buy those socks for them, they like that. But I had to buy the feeders without a tray on because that wasn't working out, because when you put trays on the bottom where they can just get in there and sit on them, unfortunately that attracts birds that you don't really want, like cowbirds and things like that, blackbirds, and they just will take over the feeder. So they were just eating me out of house and home on the sunflower seed. So I said no more of that. So I went to those feeders, and they're difficult for them to perch on, and they just don't want to take the time to do it. So they still come down to the ground down there. In fact, as a matter of fact, there's one right there. That's a male. You can tell that's a brown-headed cowbird because he always has a brown head. That's a female there. Sorry for the shaky camera. And it's obviously a northern cardinal, a male. So anyway, I spend a lot of time out here watching the birds. I really like that. It's relaxing to me. And it's kind of a real intriguing thing for me. I like to see what works and what doesn't, but I want to try to keep it consistent. Now that's a female cardinal up there, but she's not going to eat any of that because that's peanuts. Well, his camera don't like this, does it? She might be, I don't know. Those are loose shelled peanuts, raw peanuts in there, and if she's eating one of those, that's surprising. I didn't think they did that. But normally what is set up over here is for the woodpeckers and things that eat, like blue jays and stuff that eat peanuts and soot and stuff like that. And yes, they eat soot all year long. And what they do is, I didn't really mean for this to be a bird video, but it's kind of interesting, I think. What they do is they spend about a third of their time, the woodpeckers and the blue jays and the mockingbirds spend about a third of their time actually eating what they take out of those feeders there on that pole, and the rest of the time you watch them. The woodpecker will come down there and he'll get all kinds of, there's a couple of them. I have either a downy woodpecker or a red, I think they call it red-breasted woodpecker, something like that. It's got a red head, but it's not a red-headed woodpecker. But either way, it's a large woodpecker. You'll know it if you see it. It makes a real loud call. And anyway, watch that thing, and he'll stuff his beak and his mouth with all kinds of soot, as much as he can get in there, and then he takes off somewhere. He'll either take off across the field over there to a tree somewhere, or he's been going to this telephone pole here, and I watch what he does. He hides food. He takes either a piece of those peanuts, he'll pick a small piece out, or take a whole one, and he'll go up there on that pole, and he'll climb up there and go up and go up, and then you'll see him start stuffing, hiding what he's got in the pole. And they do that because they're going to come back when it gets cold, and there may not be as much food out. They come back to get it. So he's stashing food. That's what they're doing. You think they're eating a lot of it, but they're not. They're not eating as much as you think, but they'll eat all that suet up. That's even the cheap stuff. You can tell the cheap stuff because I'll give you a primer on bird food real quick. That suet there is not the best because it's real cheap. It's about 90-something cents a cake, but it's stuffed with seeds and all kinds of stuff like that, which woodpeckers don't give a rip about. They don't want any of that. They'll eat just pure suet. And the problems with pure suet, you can make it yourself, but not very easily. But the problem with pure suet, and why this has all the cheap stuff has all that stuff in it, which is not necessary, is because that you can't hardly keep when it gets hot out. You can't hardly keep pure suet from melting. It'll run all down the pole, and that stuff there gets soft as well. Excuse me, but. That's the deal. So that's how they sell it so cheap, and that's why it stays okay during the summer. When it turns winter, I'm going to order, when it's cold out, I'm going to order the pure stuff from somewhere because they don't need none of that in it. And when you feed birds, do yourself and do them a favor, and don't buy that crap bird seed that's at the store that's got all the little, like Phil would say, the little round things in them. Now I'm just saying for reference, like a little round pieces of stuff that's called milo and millet, and it's worthless. It's garbage. It's like nothing will eat that stuff out here except those stupid cowbirds. I had to quit using that. I was trying to give them a selection, the other birds, but they don't like it. They'll pick the cowbirds like it. The cowbirds will eat all of it up if you put it out, and it gets too many of them over here and they take over the place. But the regular songbirds, like the finches and the cardinals and stuff you want over here, they don't like that crap. They'll pick the sunflower seeds out of it and throw the rest to the ground, and then, like I said, you get doves and all that junk going on. So you don't want that. So I quit all that. So it's, there's a couple, there's 2 male cowbirds out there, and I'll tolerate them being on the ground. If they stay down there and don't get in the feeders and run the other birds off, then I'm okay with them. But when they start, that's why there's a nice gentleman on YouTube that does a bird feeder cam, and I've kind of tried to advise him a little bit. I mean, I know he's kind of, there's the Phoebe up there. You can tell an eastern Phoebe because how its tail moves when they sit there, it pumps its tail. She's watching me. She's probably wondering what I'm up to down here. She'd prefer me to not be here probably, but you're going to have to deal with me for a little bit. Yes, you are. Yeah, I know. I talk to the birds, but get away from me. Another one of the fucking wasps. I'm gonna kill you dead, you son of a bitch. So, there's a cardinal down there now. But anyway, kind of rambling on about this. But anyway, don't buy that cheap stuff. If you're gonna feed them, feed either just pure black oil sunflowers. There's a lot of stuff eats that. I'm not talking about those striped sunflowers like people eat, because the birds can't hardly crack those open. But buy the smaller black, just the bags of the black sunflower seed, and then you can feed them a little bit of safflower seed, but that's also hard to crack open. About the only thing will eat that's a cardinal. Those phoebes like that, they're flycatchers. They don't eat seeds like that. They fly around. That's why I don't have mosquitoes down here, because I got those and I got bluebirds, and they all eat insects. So I mean, they've even taken out the spiders around here. Used to have spiders out here last year at night, especially if I had light on out here at the front. Man, they wiped the spider population out. Because he or she, whichever that is, she'll come over here and she'll fly up around the lights and stuff, and we're almost dusk, and nab stuff. So anyway, this is a real fascinating thing for me. It may not be for everybody, but I just want to kind of tell you, if you're going to feed birds, don't give them junk food. Don't buy that stuff at the grocery store, even if it's got some name on it like Audubon or Audubon Society or crap like that, because Audubon Society, they should be ashamed of themselves for some of the things they put their names on. All they're doing is licensing their name. That's things that, you know, that's a plague in this country, is name licensing. It's a plague. Because not only do you have stuff like that going on, it doesn't even deserve to have a good, supposedly good person's name on it. But, you know, you got like stadiums that got something stadium. Whatever. I hate that stuff. So, anyway, that's the bird deal. And it's been going pretty good. So, speaking about Uncle Phil's in the hospital again with another case of pneumonia. A pretty bad one this time, according to him. I talked to him on the phone last night. He sounds all right, like he's getting his strength back, but he started turning blue this time. So Phil and I know what some folks are going to say. They're going to say, why don't you say this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you this? Why don't you that? Well, I have said, and I have done everything in my power to get him to go to a doctor on a regular basis, a real doctor, instead of one of those walk-in clinics that the po people go to. So, you know, he's assured me that he does, he will, he wants to. He's tired of being sick, he's tired of this, tired of that. So I'm just not getting the right answers from him. So obviously I'm not talking to the right person. So his sister, by non-marriage and non-relationship, she's a real nice lady, and I haven't talked to her in quite a while, so I'm going to give her a call tonight. She's been in there staying with him a little bit in the hospital. He's maybe getting out in a few days, but hopefully he will. But I'm going to give her a call. I'm going to talk to her and see what she has to say about it, because she'll know for sure. He and her go around doing a lot of doctor visit stuff, so she'll know for sure what if he's going to a doctor or has seen a doctor or what he's doing. Because all Phil wants to do, Phil, you know, bless his heart, he's such a great guy. He's a great friend, but he'll aggravate you to death because he's one of these people that just wants to tell stories, talk about stuff. Well, I'm just tired of this. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. I'm going to do this. I want to do that. I don't give a damn anymore. All I want you to tell me is say, okay, I'm going to a doctor on this day, or okay, I went to a doctor on this day. This is what the doctor said. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not one of these people. I get sick and tired of hearing the same thing over and over from anybody. If you don't have something new and fresh and interesting to say, don't say it. I don't want to hear the same old. That's like me sitting here saying, well, I wish this grass would turn a different shade of green, and say it like every time I made a video. It's nonsense. So anyway, well, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to find out, and if he's not, I'm not afraid of saying what's on my mind. If he gets well, and she tells the truth and says he's not going to the doctor, I'm going to confront him about it. I'm going to say, you're not going to the doctor. I've told him before, I said, don't you say a word about being sick if you're not willing to go to a damn doctor about it. Your arms, you complain about your arms, your wrists, your shoulders, your elbows, your back, this, and I keep asking him, did you go to the doctor? Oh, yeah, but I know, I know, bull. So, anyway, that's the status of Uncle Phil. And, you know, I feel sorry for him, but you know, there's a point you got to realize people bring stuff on themselves. If they won't help themselves, you can only feel so sorry for them. You know, I would think at some point he'd get enough of being in the hospital, but evidently. So, leads me to the last thing that I'm working on, or what I'm doing today. It's such a beautiful day. This is a back deck emblem off that 300 that's in its home out there. And I showed you this before, that this thing's broken. The piece broke off the top of it. It was already broken. I didn't do it, and I looked at it. My first glance at it looked like that it was original, but then when I turned it over and looked at the back of it, the pieces had all been broken out of it, the plastic pieces, and some substitute pieces had been kind of pretty well cut out and put back in there with JB weld. And they tried to JB weld that broken piece back on and all that, but it's done. So I finally just decided to spend the money and get another one. So I got on eBay and found one. So let me unwrap it and I'll show it to you. Okay, here it is. So this is what this emblem is supposed to look like. This chrome on this one's got a bit of pitting, but I don't care. Matches the car just fine. But this is an original one, and the plastic inserts are different. We'll turn it over, but the main thing is it's supposed to say 300 up here, and then black in there. But if you turn it over and look at the back of it, that's where the significant differences are in them. You can tell this one up here has been fooled around with a lot. That's what's supposed to be there. It's just a circular plastic insert that actually comes up over and is held in by these rivets, so that's all gone. So, and then it says 300 out there, of course. So the sections are painted on the back. They're painted white and blue and red, and this one, of course, is pretty faded. The paint's gone, but guess who's home? They're nice folks. So I went to Hobby Lobby. I got some paint, so I'm gonna rework this. So I got black that goes in those letters on the back, and it's just black. I got white, and then I looked around and tried to match up with a picture the closest I could to these colors for this. So I think I've got it. This is gonna be cardinal red, and then we've got, this is cobalt blue. It's a real iridescent bright blue for that one. So anyway, I'll show you when I get finished with this, but that's what I'm going to do this afternoon, is I'm going to sit here and work on this and relax. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm kind of in a quandary right here. I've got some good news and some news that's like I don't know what's going on yet, but I have contacted someone, or someone contacted me about a transmission. I know one of you guys offered a transmission. I got to get in touch with you. I may pick up one of yours as a backup also. I really appreciate that. But the transmission for that Valiant, so I think I got one local here, I think. So I may go tomorrow to pick that up. And then I've kind of been in the mood to buy a utility trailer or a car trailer. So I've been looking for one. I've kind of got this thing where I'm doing about two things at once, which I'm looking for another lawnmower, a better lawnmower, and I'm looking for something to haul it with, because it's almost impossible to get it up into the back of the pickup. So that's going on. So I'll let you know what comes about with that. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was, in the video about the Plymouth transmission, I showed you those pieces of stuff in the oil pan of the transmission, and I didn't really I gave kind of an explanation of what the part was, but I didn't really tell you what happened. What happened there, all those pieces of chunks of stuff, of lining, that came off the kickdown band, and I told you the kickdown band is like a brake band, which is what it is. It's simply clamps to stop something from turning. But that lining, what happened is the lining stripped off of it. It's supposed to be glued to the back of that steel band, and it's not very thick. So looking at those pieces, they look about as thick as what would be totally on there. So I don't think it's just a layer of it. I think it's like a whole thing, for whatever reason, just came unglued and stripped. So no more lining on it, so it doesn't work right when that happens. It doesn't stop the band on time. It's late. So it's probably had pieces of that stuff and pieces of metal go through the transmission, so the transmission's toast. But what would cause that? Somebody said moisture, but I'm more of the opinion that it got hot. So I think that band, maybe the transmission overheated, or the band overheated. It was slipping too much, and it wasn't black really, but something caused the glue to let go. I've never seen that happen on another one of those. I've had some old ones and I haven't seen that happen. But could it be rebuilt? Yes. Am I going to? No, because again, you get into a lot of money for hard parts, and until you take the thing apart and you got all totally apart on your workbench, you don't know what's wrong with it. You don't know what's got to be replaced. So $100 repair rebuild may turn into a $400 or $500 repair, so we're not doing that. We're just gonna buy a used one. So anyway, thanks for tagging along, guys. And I know this is kind of a strange video. It's got a lot of stuff going on. So let me work on this, and I'll probably show it to you when I get it put on the car. So see you then. There we go. It's back on. I repaired the broken off stud that was on one end of it. I just ground it down flush, drilled a little small hole, and used a small sheet metal screw and a washer, and it just held it just fine. So in an effort to keep this thing together, I'm gonna try to remember not to slam this trunk lid. So that's good. And got my 66 tag put on here that I had registered for it. And I had a little bit of a issue with that, even though the title code explicitly states that you can use a specific tag. It even give you a sheet. This would use a 66 through a 70 tag. There's the same tag, that style tag there, and then they changed them for 70, and et cetera, et cetera. And at some point during the 60s, they quit putting a year on them. They would have like 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, just like that song. But these didn't have them, so when I went up to my tag office up here at the county seat, about 20 miles north of here, of course there's always a old lady in there who's an authority on everything, and she thinks she knows everything, and she looked at that tag. The little lady that was helping me at the counter, she's nice, but she looks at it, she flips it over, looks at it, and she's just lost. She doesn't know what she's looking at. I said, I want to register this with this tag, please. And so she gets up and goes over to the authority, who is not the county clerk. The county clerk is another lady who's real nice, but she was doing something else. She's busy. So the authority there looks at it, and she spouts off real loud. She says, "You can't use that plate." I thought, the heck? What are you saying, can't use this plate? I told him, I said, I was not in a good mood anyway. I was not feeling good. I said, wait a minute. That's a 66 through a 70 tag. I'll look it up on the internet right now. That's right. Exactly, can use that tag. And the authority muttered something. So anyway, she said, well, the other lady was helping me. She says, well, we're going to have to contact the state about it. We'll do that, and then we'll give you a call. So I couldn't register that day anyway, because they're going to have to get it approved. So evidently the county seat up here doesn't deal with this very often. They didn't know what they were looking at. So anyway, they called me a few days later and said, of course, the state approved it. Of course, because it's the 66 car tag for this county. It says right there on it. It's just everything's legit. No problems, no reason to turn it down at all. So they did not. So I said, yeah, just come on in. We'll get it taken care of. So I came on in and got it taken care of. And I saw the authority walking around behind the counter doing something else. And they remembered me because it kind of was ugly when I was in there first time. But anyway, so I didn't directly confront the authority, but I said, made a point of saying, I said, so the state approved this, that they said this is the exact right tag. And she said, yes, it's fine. And I said, well, that lady there said that when I was here last time, they couldn't use that tag. And all that lady would say, the younger lady, she'd say, well, we spoke to the state. Well, we spoke to the state. So anyway, I don't know if you all have to deal with stuff like that when you go register your vehicles, but you know, normally these folks are pretty easy to deal with, but part of the thing that's there for their entertainment is to try to catch people doing something that's incorrect or wrong or whatever. When I go to that tag office, I'm prepared. I'm not doing something wrong. I'm not taking the wrong tag up there, not taking the wrong registration up there, not taking the wrong VIN. I'm not taking wrong nothing up there. I'm all prepared. I got a folder in hand when I go in there, and when I come out, I got what I went for. Because I know their game, and gang. So anyway, that aside, it's all legit. Everything's good. We're registered, we're insured, and then we got the emblem on. So let me wedge myself around here, and I'll continue. Actually, I cheated. I walked around and came in that door. But I've started working on the paint on this car. I've got this half done on the trunk and the sides and up the side there to the door, at the front of the door there, because the sun's been shining on that heat rather. Shit. We'll try that again. The sun has been shining on that hood, so it's kind of hot and it needs to be dusted off. So I'm not doing that yet, but I'm working that way. I'm doing this by hand. I'm rubbing it out with compound, and then we'll put a coat of wax on it, good quality wax. So it's coming back. Not looking too bad. I'm going to see myself in it now, at least. But I don't like the paint peeled off of it, but don't lament this paint job because it's nothing special. Here's the train coming. In fact, when I look at it, I can definitely see sanding marks in it. So this was a totally high profit, low quality paint job somebody put on here. You know the deal. Just throw it on. That's why it peeled off. They didn't sand under it or didn't sand enough. So it is what it is, and there's no plans to repaint this car. It's not been painted the original color anyway, because that's one of those things, just like in Christine, where they said they didn't think they made this shade anymore. Well, they don't make this shade anymore. This is one of these deals where this paint code is obsolete. They don't make it, and I have a very, very hard time understanding that, because I thought paint was just a mixture of pigments. So how can you, somebody explain to me how paint can be obsolete, that they're just not going to mix it anymore? I mean, is there, you know, how hard is it to mix blue paint? The formula. That upsets me. Some decision maker somewhere decided that, oh, we're not going to have medium blue metallic for 66 Chryslers anymore. I've decided now that's what we're going to do. We're not going to have it anymore. Too bad. Maybe one day I'll reconsider my decision and I'll allow you to mix it again. Whatever. If I had a paint mixing machine, I'd just mix it myself, I guess, if I ever need to. But either way, moving on. So I got the parts in for the carburetor, and I'm going to pull that off and work on that. I forgot a couple of the gaskets, of course, but I'm going to pull it off and do that, and then hopefully about the end of this next week, we're going to have this thing back together and on the road. So looking forward to it. So I hear the train coming, guys. I'm going to post this up. Hope you enjoy. See ya later.